Promotions, aka the Omaha Fatty, and I'm coming with another podcast episode of What's Up Omaha. Today I have two wonderful guests, Jamie, Jordan Caniglia, owners of Caniglia, Mano, out here in Papillion. What's the address?
13178 Lincoln Road.
Yeah.
South of Highway 370.
Yeah, so if you're heading west, you just go past 124th and Warner Park, and it's like the next main
intersection.
Yeah, intersection. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So a person driving by might not necessarily notice it if they were just driving by and didn't look you guys up before. You guys are in a unique location. This is not like your normal pizza shop, right?
It's called Bungalows on the Lake.
Bungalows on the Lake.
And Prairie Queen.
Prairie Queen.
Yes.
And it's the bottom floor of, it's an apartment complex.
Yep.
Which, again, you don't really see that. Is this something that's new that's coming along with businesses? Or I had never seen a place like this before. So it took me by surprise.
Yeah, so this place, we actually found it on Craigslist, believe it or not. We were looking at different businesses, bar and grills, restaurants that were closing down for sale or for lease. And we came across this. His mother actually did Glenda, and I thought it was a scam, to be honest with you, because it wasn't on any of like the business sites that we had been looking at. And we came and checked it out, and their whole plan was to have the lower units of these first two, possibly three buildings that have the brick front, to have those be businesses or little salons or little shops, and then having like the owners or people who at least work there living above.
Right.
And their goal was to make this development kind of its own little community, something that you can't find anywhere else in Omaha.
Right.
I think the developer has been to all different places around the world at different places, and the one thing I remember them saying when we took our first tour was that there's a place near Key West, I think, that's got like a little community like this, where as you go, each street has like a totally different feel and a totally different vibe. And
He was hoping to get a coffee shop in here, a sub shop, nail salon,
ice cream,
anything, and he was going to just keep growing off of that. But it's 99% residential. In fact, we're grandfathered in now, so
Nice.
there's no other retails. Well, I guess but there's no other retails going in now.
Yeah, no other businesses. I think a lot of it had to do with COVID. I think a lot of smaller places, are scared to do things like this. It's a totally different thing. It's a different vibe.
Yeah, because what if it doesn't work? Then you just got the space, and then you got to remodel.
Exactly. And I think that was part of it too, was because we turned a one-bedroom apartment into a pizza shop, but still leaving the same structure. Like, we couldn't really move walls.
Yeah, right.
We had to build out a half wall a little ways, and then built us like a partial countertop for our bar to sit on top of.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, the plumbing had to stay where it was, the walls, like the beams, everything.
Not the typical build out.
Right.
Right.
And I think it's cool with the garage door right here too. Like,
Yeah.
it's just different. Like, it's catchy. Like, I mean, again, you might not necessarily notice it if you were just driving by, but when you come here and you see it, I think it just adds to like the atmosphere and experience of it. And it's really cool. I haven't dined inside. We've dined out on the patio most recently, and I've gotten to go like 2 times before. We'll have to make sure to eat in sometimes.
Sometimes it can be difficult to get a spot inside, okay?
A lot of customers say it gives a good mom and pop feel.
Yeah,
Definitely. New York feel, because New York's very consolidated.
With the apartments being right
they
here
build
and
up
everything.
instead of out. So, like Taiwan or something,
But something that we've learned since we've opened up is being in such a small confined space, we would rather have troubles seating people and being too full than to have such a big place and have trouble filling.
Yep. That makes sense. And so one of the things that I first thought when I saw this was like, man, like, that's genius. Like, you got a whole, like you guys said, community right here surrounding you, and like maybe it's winter time, or maybe people are just tired and don't want to go. Like, if I lived around here, I would totally walk over and get pizza like all the time.
Accidentally have a couple drinks while you're here.
Yeah, like,
home, yeah.
like it's
Yeah,
just
we're
real
kind of
convenient.
built in. It's
Yeah.
nice, like, think of it, most people have been in an apartment at some point in their lives, and like, to have a restaurant on site is,
So we
Definitely a
originally
minute.
weren't going to do dining when
Yeah.
we opened up. We were going to be made all carryouts similar to Orson's.
Right.
And we were going to have this kind of closed off to have a deli or have cheese or, you know, again, something relative to that. But with this community here, we wanted to be convenient to where they could bring the kids, bring the family, come by.
they don't have to
have
stay
some
in the
drinks.
apartment to
Yeah.
eat.
And it's also a convenient thing for Warner Park and the gymnastics place down the road. We get
Right.
some families that come up here that get a couple hours to get away
Yeah.
and come over here. You know, so.
Well, that's the same thing too. Like you were saying, you don't have to eat in an apartment. Like sometimes you just need a couple hours away from your
Yeah,
house.
you wanna get
Like,
out.
you know?
Or people get locked out of their house and
Yeah.
come
That
here.
happens a lot. We get a lot of people,
Really?
because the apartment doors, when they close, they automatically lock all the
Oh,
time.
safe,
yeah.
And so we've had quite a few neighbors who either hadn't been here before or have, and they know us, and they were like, well, I'm just gonna wait for maintenance.
It's a
So-
very, very friendly community here.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I would assume that you get to know people
Absolutely.
since you know.
Well,
you're
we
right
lived
here.
above for the first year and a half, so
So that also helped because we had the kids, we had a dog, you know, walking around here, people seeing us outside. One of us is always here, so we get to know the faces that we see a lot, get to chatting.
I think there's a few days where I was carrying a baby around, closing checks and waiting on tables.
Well, if that
Definitely
doesn't-
had those moments.
If that doesn't say mom and pop, I don't know what does. You know, so that's pretty cool, man. And we kind of talked about it before we started recording, and I want to ask again. You guys just celebrated your 2-year anniversary of being open, so that means you started during COVID. You had to get everything in line before COVID popped up and was a thing. So, like, what was the mindset and like after you decided, okay, we're gonna open up a spot, you get everything going, and then COVID hits. Like, how does that affect you?
Oh, we were terrified. I was
We
absolutely.
were so scared. We were so scared. We
It-
quit our jobs and like.
Oh, so
rented-
you guys
we
like
put-
dove in.
We
Like, it's-
listed our house and sold it and
Yeah.
had to move in here, which cost more than our house did for
Oh.
rent, and like we were locked in, and we locked in for 2 years
Right.
right off the bat. And so it was terrifying when we first opened in July, and the very first thing at that point was that there was this 6-foot
Yeah,
space.
so
We
we
could
had-
only use, we had to mark off 2 of our tables so that we couldn't even use
in the restaurant, and yeah,
to-go containers. Like pricing had gone up so much
Yep.
from when we first like were pricing everything out and making sure that you know we had our stuff ready. I mean, we were starting off already like
well, and also a lot of people were losing jobs. A lot
Yeah.
of people were staying at home. A lot of people were scared to go out. So we set our prices on the lower end to motivate people to come out and to give us a try.
just to get our food out there.
So, and with us being strictly carry out, and I've never owned a business. I've managed places that have already been established and running.
Right.
But when you take that confidence and come into something like this, it humbles you very quickly, and you learn very fast how
Yeah.
you're not all as smart as you crack yourself up to be. So I've learned a lot in the first couple of years of opening this place up.
Well, no matter how much experience, time, or like studying you could do, there's always going to be something
Oh, yeah.
that you didn't account for. Like, I mean, that just oddity that happens where, you know, like, oh man, I didn't even know that. I didn't consider that at all. Like,
We're still dealing with that. I mean, every day we sit and joke about how with some of our staff who's been here since the very beginning, and we get new people in and they're like, man, that's so cool, that's so smart that you thought of that. And it's like, well, I'm glad that you think it's smart because we didn't do that for the first
we
year.
didn't think about that, right?
It took us a really long time to figure that
So
out.
obviously we work
live
out
and
the
learn.
kinks.
Yeah.
Figure out the best ways to be efficient and fast, and keeping the quality control up. And that was my biggest goal opening up, is keeping it simple and knowing that we were going to have a young staff going into this, because like we spoke about earlier, we're not the typical restaurant. We're right in between a fast food carry out to a dine-in restaurant, because we want to give that Caniglia feel the full dining, that good experience of the good atmosphere, and you
Take your order at the table versus stand up there and take a number and sit down.
Right.
We want our
I've-
customers to be waited on.
I've worked at a lot of restaurants where they had the right location and they had the right product, but they had the wrong staff working there. And when you come in and you feel like you're a burden to the people and they make you feel bad for being there, you don't want to go back again.
Yeah.
So I've really put in these kids' head, the people who are coming in and eating here could eat on anywhere. There's a place to eat on every corner. So we
So
have to
many
be
places.
so thankful that they came here
Right.
and to show them what we're all about. And if we give them great service, great atmosphere, great food, I mean, great drinks as well. We got a lot of drinks, but what's not to bring them back?
Right.
You know. So
So, and you said a couple of things there. One is that Caniglia. So, Caniglia is a common name around Omaha.
94 years
94 years.
stretch. They were running bakeries and bars and grills and steakhouses. And Venison was the last one to close down, and that was about 8 years ago now. And so
Well, I guess Leavenworth Cafe was a Caniglia.
Tony
too,
Caniglia.
so that was another one. But it was
He's
a
distant
different family.
Yeah.
But the ones that we're tied in with Venison, Mr. C's, and the original are all my grandpa's cousins.
Right.
When they all closed down, I knew, I was like, we have to, because I was wanting to open a place up. I was like, we have to find something and open something up because we got this younger generation coming up and they have to know about the Caniglias and what we brought to Omaha you know, for almost a century.
So, is it a huge family? Huge Italian family?
Very big fan.
Okay.
Everywhere we go, if somebody hears that our last name is Caniglia, they're always like, oh, do you know this person? Do you know that person? And I will say about 75% of the time, it's somebody that neither of us have heard of, which says
My dad's
a
cousin.
lot.
Right.
This is usually what it comes down to. It's one of my dad's cousins.
Yeah,
So,
maybe third, fourth cousin.
yeah, we've got a lot of family members. We had a family reunion quite a few years back, and we had different colored shirts for different colors of
families.
Caniglias. And I just kind of huddled by the yellow
same color.
t-shirts. Yeah, like, I don't know these guys in the green or the red.
Right.
I mean, we're all family down the line.
I always joke that, you know, everybody's got a family tree and everything, but the Caniglias are like a whole forest.
My cousin Jeremy has been working on our family tree for the last 10 years, and we keep having kids every year to where he has to keep updating it to where he's never going to complete it. Ever.
So,
Sorry, Jeremy.
I used to work with a guy whose last name was Caniglia. We did security together at Westroads Mall. This is back in like 2000. Like, so it was a while ago. But I always wondered if he was connected to like Caniglia.
Probably somewhere down the
Somewhere
line.
down the line through marriage or through
So there's
it
a
was
lot.
Michael. Michael was his first name.
Michael Caniglia.
Yeah.
It's not one of his like direct cousins. I know
Yeah.
that 'cause I know their names.
Yeah.
I know all the kids' names.
Yeah,
And,
she's got a great memory on life.
Okay.
but so what we've realized that, you know, there's like the restaurant side of the Caniglias, and then there's like a construction and like more hands-on. I guess food is hands-on, but you know what I mean.
You're
More
right.
like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, construction and
Yeah.
repair
Yeah, I mean,
and
that's-
things like that. But they're all still related somewhere just down the line.
Okay. With that being the case, did you feel like an obligation to open up like your own business, and was there any pressure for you to, you know, hey, they set the standard, like I gotta present a certain level of quality when I'm slanging these pizzas?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And going into this, I mean, before we found Prairie Queen Development, I wasn't thinking of just pizzas. I was thinking, you know, pasta dishes, you know, burgers, steaks, and trying to do the all-around aspect of it. And that's why we were going more like a bistro style. But again, it was all based off location and the size of the location. The bigger the location, the bigger the menu.
Right.
And so when we came into this, we were trying to do a 2-bay concept of knocking out a wall, and when we found out that that wasn't going to be the case, and it was going to be literally a 1-bedroom apartment, I was like, what can I have on a menu in a 1-bedroom apartment that can work? And luckily enough, I've worked at many restaurants that had very small kitchens. So I've learned that you can actually fit a lot of stuff into a small kitchen and be able to, you know, cross-utilized, and that's honestly what it comes down to, is cross-utilizing the food and making it work. My biggest thing is when you go to a restaurant and you're flipping the menu and you got 4 pages and they've got 75 items of food,
Yeah.
and it's not only overwhelming for you to decide on what you want to eat.
And I'm indecisive too, so sometimes you give me
I still
75 items, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, think
Take you
about
an hour
the-
just to read the menu and
Right.
decide.
Yeah.
how in the world can they keep quality control up when they have
There's so many
that many
different-
things on there?
And your
It's
teenagers who work here, like having them be able to memorize things or answer the questions or know really
Oh, I
the
mean,
menu.
the list
You
goes
know, you
on.
gotta have it set. Dun, dun, dun,
Mhm.
dun, dun.
And I've worked at bigger restaurants to where the waste, the amount of food that we were throwing out at the end of the week was like, it terrified me, and I wasn't even the business owner.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
just a cook.
Yeah.
And I saw the amount of food that was the steaks and the salmon that went bad and the chicken that went bad because they just had so much variety on the menu that,
And I think to that too, when we first opened, we didn't have the bay next door. We
Yeah.
only had
so
this.
I was cooking
7
everything upstairs and
We-
not in our loft.
Yes, we are 764 square feet is what this unit is. And we had our dough mixer up there in the corner where now we have more product. We have a curtain closet right here and that had our dough sheeter. And when we closed between 2 and 4 for weekday lunches, we would roll out the dough sheeter,
Roll
make
pans out,
pans,
sure.
make dough right here, fill it with flour, sweep it up as
Sweep
fast as
them
we
off the
can
floor
to open the door
before
back at
4
4 o'clock. And so we didn't really have much room for storage. We have a garage back here, but it's not directly behind, it's the other end of this building and on the other
So,
side of it.
Wasn't too convenient.
And so we had our fridges and freezers back there that we were bringing food up every single day until this unit became vacant and we jumped on it right away. So now we've got more prep space and we have more storage.
I mean, we were
and
making
everything,
meatballs upstairs, making
our
sauce
oven.
upstairs. I was carrying 50-pound cases of sauce. I mean, all
but
these
multiple
things down.
times a day.
Right.
And when
It was
we- and
crazy.
the issue was when we first opened up was not only with COVID and like the lack of resources, but there's a lot of things that we couldn't get.
Yeah.
I was so concerned about getting my appliances in and getting my product in that even the pizza pans and screens,
Yep.
I didn't realize were on back order. So we opened up and we had 24 large pans and 18 medium pans. And that was it.
We were selling out every night because we just didn't have.
We didn't have the pans.
We didn't have the
Yeah.
pans or the time and space to keep stuff because we made everything every single day. Every spare moment that we had, we just were making more of everything and we just couldn't keep up with it.
We were just learning as we went. And again, you were asking about COVID and us opening up and, how did we feel? We were terrified. But we did not expect to be overwhelmed with the amount of business and love
Yeah.
and support. We had people driving from all across, not even Omaha, from Lincoln,
Nice.
from, I'm talking Plattsmouth, Bennington. We had people that heard the Caniglia name opened up and
They were
the
curious,
excitement
yeah.
was there. So,
So then on that same note, you had also asked about did we feel a pressure with opening something under the Caniglia name? I will say, myself personally, I did. I never had an opportunity to eat at any of the Caniglia's restaurants, like growing up, like a lot of people talk about it and stuff, but I knew the name.
Right.
Okay, my grandparents, like, I knew the name Caniglia before I met him. I knew it was a restaurant name, and then once we started dating and everything and being around everybody in the family and stuff, I realized, like, this is serious. Like, they don't play with their food, okay? It was serious. So, knowing that we were gonna open something, and not just a restaurant that was ours, but a restaurant that we were going to be utilizing the same last name.
Keep it
and
in and go.
yeah, we wanted to keep the name alive and the history of it alive, but we weren't using the same recipes,
Right.
And that's the
That was
problem
something
with
that was-
these Caniglias, these old school Caniglias, they keep all their recipes locked.
in their
Far,
brain.
far
They don't
away.
have them written down places.
I can't, and I'm honestly not reaching out trying to get the fried ravioli recipe or
Yeah.
anything like that, or the veal recipe, but I got a lot of people that come here asking me, are these recipes tied in? No, they're not. I mean,
They're yours.
It's called Zugu Marinara. My grandma calls it Zugu. Growing up, that's what we called it. So I infiltrate that into the menu, letting people know that that's, how we call it. I mean, just like how some Italians call it grape
Yeah.
So it's our version is.
I think it's important to, continue the name and continue the legacy of the Caniglia restaurant name, but I think it's just as important for us to have,
make your own.
to have our own food out there and to start our own thing so that people can say like, look, we really did start it from scratch for ourselves.
Well,
Yes, we still have the same name.
When we were actually decorating this place and talking about it, we were going to do like a memoir of all the original Caniglias. We were going to have Ben and Sin and Mr. C's and and have them all over the walls and photos of the family and stuff. And I was like, you know what? Let's kind of make this our own.
We don't want to confuse people into thinking that this is the same stuff, and then they're comparing and it doesn't taste the same.
Yeah.
So we love to share it. We love we still get 80% of the people that come in here that we get a chance to talk to at the tables, like still ask.
Right.
Is there any relation?
And what warms my heart is, I don't mean to interrupt, what warms my heart is a lot of them say that it brings them back to the original. With the Sicilian ranch we make in-house, with the marinara we make in-house, they say it does remind me of Mr. C's, and that just gives me goosebumps and makes my day when I hear stuff like that. So,
and I'm glad that you said make it your own, because one of my questions was going to be, I told you, we did a pizza tour. We went to 30 different places. What makes Caniglia Mano different, and what makes you guys stand out from other pizzas? Like what's special for you when you create pizza?
the fact that we're thin crust, I think our thin crust version is what has to stand out. I know there's deep dish lovers out there, there's Chicago style lovers, there's the real New York with the big giant slice style, and that's the problem. You can't claim to be number one in pizza. There's so many different varieties, it's not even fair. You can't even create a market or a bracket for that.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is we put so much time and effort in making the dough and the sauce, and we make the meatballs, we cook the hamburger, we grill the sausage and the chicken on our grill out back. Even when it comes to the veggies, we're chopping veggies fresh every day. Heads of lettuce for the salad, we chop every day fresh.
Which those salads are legit, man. Like they're huge.
We don't do you get a little tiny tomato and a little piece of cucumber and a little piece of ham. I mean,
We loaded up, but
I can't remember if I told you or not, but the picture that I took of the salad that I got when we ordered from here the first time to go, I put that on Google,
I remember.
and it was like, I don't even know, it was like a crazy amount of people had saw that photo. It was like 25,000 or so. I don't even know what
it was. A lot. I remember seeing this.
I was like, what? I said, people must love this Caniglia salad, man. Like, what's going on? But it had the cheese on it. Like, it was. Yeah.
I think you do better explaining it.
He'll say it's the thin crust, which definitely does, set us apart. It's a thin crust, but it's not like a cracker, like crumbly crust. But in my opinion, what really sets us apart is the amount of love and passion that goes into it. Not that other places don't put as much time and energy into it, that's not what I'm saying. But this man, when we first opened, we had no staff that knew how to do anything. Nobody knew any of the recipes. He was figuring everything out. He had recipes already in his head and plans, but he had to perfect everything, and then he wanted to oversee every single thing that came in and out. And he was not just making the sauce upstairs and making meatballs upstairs and cooking the hamburger. He was grilling sausage and chicken every single day. He was making the dough multiple times a day. He was chopping all of the veggies. He was rolling pan. That's the only thing that I did with him was rolling pans. But he doesn't give himself enough credit until really this year. None of our staff has really known how to do any of those things, aside from one or two employees that were managers that knew how to roll pans by themselves, and they could make dough and cut some veggies. But he was the only person who did all of these things, and that's something that I think is different than any other, at least small restaurant. The chains, they bring in everything, but I think having a small shop that we have, all of our staff is teenagers, and our teenagers are now grilling, they're seasoning everything, they know how to make the sauce, they make the meatballs, that we do our own breadcrumbs in the meatballs, hand ball them all up. I mean, our staff, our teenage staff, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, are making everything by hand every single day. That's what's really different about us.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm trying to find another way to explain just when you have a dream set for yourself and you go so long, you're a screw up for so many years. You know, I wasn't the best kid growing up and the best 21-year-old and older. You get in that party stage, and I was pretty selfish a lot of the time, and it's tough to kick yourself into gear and to get through that phase
Right.
when you don't have any responsibilities around you really. And I think she kind of helped settle me down when her and I started dating, and kind of opened my eyes, like I'm not getting any younger.
Right.
And that passion, that dream of mine was set on the back burner. And I knew I'm not going to bartend for the next 30, 40 years. I'm not going to own my own bar. So
Right.
let's figure something out here. And when we got this place, and I mean, that's where the adrenaline starts going. I think the first 6 months, 9 months we were open, it was just all adrenaline. Is what we were living on. I mean, I was working 20-hour shifts.
100%.
Yeah.
And Mondays were our day off, but it wasn't a day off. It
Yeah.
was-
Small business owners don't get days off.
No, it was a deep cleaning day. I mean, a lot of things I didn't take into consideration was the amount of cleaning that's involved as well. Even though we're small, we don't have a cleaning crew that comes in and does this stuff. We
Right.
have to do it, you know.
Wow.
And we're limited with time with these teenagers to train them. So when she said I was grilling and making everything, we could only train them how to work inside the restaurant. So when it came to
During
the
the
prep
time that
side,
they were here,
during the
while
prep
we were
side,
open.
I didn't have time to teach them the prep side. So the prep side was when we were closed after hours or early in the morning before we opened.
6 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. We had a 2-year-old and put him in bed upstairs, all the way upstairs in the apartment, brought down the monitor, and we were making dough, rolling
So-
pans, cutting things.
And we get customers, I mean, and I feel terrible still today that we would sell out and customers would be upset. They would come in like, what do you mean? It's 7 o'clock on a Saturday. What do you mean you're out of dough or you're out
Yeah.
of cheese?
We didn't get-
I'm sorry.
We got a lot of love from a lot of people, but then we had we had a good amount of people who definitely
Didn't understand.
and didn't give us patience
I
and
felt
time
because-
to work out the kinks.
We didn't have the big warmer that holds all the pizzas.
Yeah.
We had a little small undercounter one that was burning my staff's legs as they were running the register. So we
yeah.
had to get rid of that. So I went 2 weeks without a warmer trying to run a restaurant. So
We had
were just-
people sitting
we were
up on
just
top of the
placing
counter with
pizzas on the
people's
bar.
names, and
So we were very inefficient when we opened up, and
we weren't prepared for the amount of business we were going to get.
Yeah.
bless
That's a good
those
thing.
people
Yes.
that were
Yeah.
so cool with us, and they knew that we were trying
Working out
so
kinks.
hard.
Well, I'd like to think that your average person would have the right state of mind to
Yes.
understand, hey, this is a new place. It's like the people who get mad at like barbecue places when they're sold out.
Yeah,
Because you don't,
Exactly.
it takes 16 hours to make, bro. Like I can't just make you another
Right, let me just
I
run
can't
back
make
there real
another
quick and
regular.
make it.
And that's kind of how we treat it. Like on Sundays, and this is for you guys to remember, we are closed on Mondays. So Sundays, we sometimes sell out. If we have a crazy Sunday lunch and dinner,
Yeah.
we might sell out at 7 o'clock at night because I'm not going to make an X amount of dough because all
It's
this
not gonna last.
it gets thrown out.
We make the dough like Monday night or very early Tuesday morning for Tuesday. I mean, we try to make the dough the
So,
same day or
if-
the night before because we want it to be the best quality. I mean, we could stretch Sunday's dough till Tuesday, but we don't want to.
No,
we don't want
quality's
that
not
quality going out
So,
there.
We've learned a lot, and again, I think the biggest thing we've learned is how important staff is. And I'm sure a lot of business owners have realized
Yeah.
that since COVID.
yeah.
But we are truly blessed for what we have, and sometimes I lose sight of how old these kids are, and I put so much on their plate, and they kick ass. I mean,
They work really hard, and they're just as dedicated as we are.
They make these pizzas, and they compete with each other on who can make the better pizza.
They send us pictures that say this one was mine, that one's better.
Stuff like that just warms my heart, because I feel like there's times where I'm tough on these kids and I'm strict, and we work on no waste and not burning food and not mistaking orders, because when you're busy on a Friday night and you're burning pizzas, you're mistaking orders, giving people the wrong orders, then we have to start remakes, and all the orders start getting backed up, then dining gets backed up with their orders, and it just becomes a domino effect of.
And we are really lucky because those kids have the same standards. I mean, they question each other. They're like, don't send that one out, or get it out quick, Like,
so I couldn't be more proud of these kids, and I just talked to them the other day. I was like, I lose sight sometimes that this is not your play. This is your job, but this is not your passion. This is not your career. It's just a pizza shop on the corner of 132nd Street.
And most of them, it was their first job. Almost all of our staff, this is first job.
Barely even wipe off a table, let alone cook. So I lose sight sometimes that, they're not like me when I was growing up, because I was born in a kitchen. I was making scrambled eggs and over easy eggs when I was 8 years old, and pancakes when I was 9, and I kind of always had that. I always had that love, and these kids, again, we wouldn't be here today. We're talking about possibly this fall and winter closing down for lunches. Because we might not have the staff to help, because I'm not going to run myself thin again.
Well, and we want to make sure that I would rather not have a bunch of shifts where we're short-staffed and we're stretching it. We would rather be fully staffed and not use people for lunches. We're doing everything we can to not make that happen, but if that's what it takes, it's what it takes. I mean, we still have to have a work-life balance, and so do these kids, and that's what's really important. So.
All right, well, a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap it up here. So, what is the best thing what is, out of all this experience, what is your greatest takeaway?
That's a really good question. Greatest takeaway? I'd probably honestly say the feedback. The feedback that we get from the customers is just, even just the simplest statements, this is amazing.
The salads are so great.
I've got people that come here from New York, and they're like, your pizza would compete in New York. And I just get goosebumps when I think about that. I got people from Chicago, they're like, this is the best pizza I've had in Omaha, and I've been here for years. And just hearing stuff like that, we've only been open for a couple of years. We got, Mama's has been around for 50 years. You got Orsi's has been around for 100 years. You got La Casa. Don't even get me started with that. I'll start a war with that. But no, I've got nothing but respect about all these owners that have been running it for so long, because I'm younger. But it takes a toll. La Sol Mio, bless them. All you people that went and dominated La Sol Mio in the last 2 weeks, that was so harsh. I wanted to go there so badly, but I knew that they were so overwhelmed that I wouldn't sleep at night knowing that.
Someone told me that they went and it was a 3-hour wait.
I saw longer than that.
4 hours,
brought
5 hours.
Folding chairs and books and stuff.
Do that to them.
We gotta get it before they close.
Goodness gracious.
I love the fact they're supporting, but I hope the La Sol Mio family didn't grow any more gray hairs in this last 2 weeks.
I hope everybody was nice and
it wasn't rude to them.
Understand.
I felt, again, we're blessed. We're blessed to be where we're at right now.
I'll say my biggest takeaway from all of this is watching Jordan grow and become the person that he has become. We've been together about 6 years, and when we first started dating, he was a bartender and a cook at a bar and grill, and I was an administrative assistant at UNMC, and I got pregnant, and we decided that I decided that I cried every day. I didn't want to be there anymore. I wanted to be by our kids every single day. And I cried and I was like, I don't want to work anymore. And he said, then don't. And he just picked up the pieces and busted his ass working at this bar and grill and talked all the time about wanting to open a restaurant and wanting to do this for himself and stop working for other people and get his food out there, not other people's food anymore. And so we just started looking again at different places. And the fact that he's put in so much time and energy and has worked so hard and tirelessly and takes every single day and makes it the hardest working day of his life is just incredible. It's inspiring, and I'm really proud of you. The fact that he said that his biggest takeaway is getting feedback from customers, good, bad, doesn't matter, just taking the information and absorbing it and trying to do something better or different or match it every single day into every single customer shows what kind of person he is and how hard he works and how important it is to him. And I just think it's awesome that we get to do what we're doing every day and that I call myself his support staff because this is his baby.
Yeah.
And me and his mother both try to do everything we can to just help him make this what he wants it to be. So
What a great team.
it's impressive.
Love you.
All right, so I mean, I don't even know. I think that's just where we got to end it because I don't even know how to like top anything like going further into the interview. Where can we find you?
You can find us on Facebook at Caniglia Mano or Instagram. We're trying to get better at using it. It's Caniglias_A_Mano. Our address again is 13178 Lincoln Road. It's Unit 101, right off of 132nd and Lincoln Road. And our phone number is 402-917-7775.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you to the owners of Caniglia Mano, a great pizza. They have more than pizza, but a great pizza shop here in Papillion. You know I support the community, small business owners. That's what it is, man. And as we end every episode, before we do that, make sure to subscribe and share. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're taking in the podcast, please subscribe. And then what I was going to say was, smile, help someone else smile, laugh, and help someone else laugh all day, every day. Yeah! Thank you guys for being on.
Thank you.
Peace out, y'all. Yeah!